What if I told you there was a podcast made by the M-SABR Dynasty League for the M-SABR Dynasty League? On this special 30th episode, we have a 30 for 30 with the two hosts, Cam and Sahil. How are you guys doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. So, I guess to get started, what was the inspiration for the podcast, and how did you get it started?
Well, I guess it all started me and Sahil over the course of the summer and through quarantine. If one of us was going on a long car ride or something, we'd send the other Slack message and say, "Hey, do you want to talk for an hour? Kind of break it up." And most of the time we'd say yes, and we'd talk about mostly the league. And then sometime in, I guess, August, something like that, I shot Sahil a message and said, "I think we should make a podcast." And I don't know where exactly the inspiration came from, but I guess I figured all of this talk about the league, someone might like to hear it. It'd be fun to kind of get creative with it. And Sahil, I remember he took a couple of days to respond. So I thought maybe he didn't like the idea, but he got back to me and said, "Yeah, let's do it." We kind of hammered out some of the details, and just in time for the semifinals matchups, we got a podcast going.
Oh man, I didn't even realize it took me a couple of days to respond. I must have not seen the message or something. That was one of the best ideas that I thought you've ever come up with. Yeah, I think Cam nailed it. It just Cam proposed it to me, and I was like, "This is fantastic," because I feel like all I do is just sit here and have thoughts about the league, especially during quarantine when there's like not much else going on. And Cam and I are probably borderline have unhealthy obsessions with this league. Zane definitely has it too. I've definitely told that to Zane when we were making all those trades a couple of months ago. I was like, you and I are like unhealthily obsessed with these teams, but like I don't even care. So I'm glad that we could actually like get people to actually listen to our thoughts. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean it's normal to get unhealthy about something if it's been 4 years and you grow attached to a team like it's your child.
It really is a child. I will I consider myself a father already.
Congratulations.
I kid. I'm not going that far, but I love this team.
Yeah, this league has certainly changed for the better when this whole podcast thing started. Oh yeah, thanks again for starting it, guys.
Yeah, I feel like it did kind of create some sort of level of league-wide involvement in just kind of the sense that, this league, it's grown in such a way that it's broken the fourth wall. It exists outside of the computer.
Yeah, it's like something that like a normal league wouldn't do. A normal league is just, you make the occasional trade and do your ad drops, set your lineups, right? This is just something so off the wall. And I feel like that really just showed our, the commitment. And I think the response that we've gotten from everybody else in the league about the podcast has kind of driven home the point that it's not just us. It's a lot of people in this league who, feel similarly.
Yeah. So next up, Cam, you produce these whole things. You take a while to edit them. You want to talk a little bit about what all goes into that?
Yeah, so it did take kind of a while to figure it out. I figured, I guess I don't know how I ended up doing this because it is a lot of work. But I looked up how to edit a podcast. I found an app called Audacity, which is pretty simple. I watched a few tutorials on how to edit with it. Yeah, uploaded the videos into there, figured out how to convert it a couple times and get it in the format I wanted. And then after that, it's just listening through, cutting out some of the filler words and some of the parts where we mess up, and just kind of maybe some of the parts that get repeated or unnecessary, and then spit out a product. I add some music to it, which is one of the things I love. And then I put it up on YouTube. Originally, it was up on SoundCloud, but then I realized we'd have to pay for it. The podcasts were too long, and we had too many of them, so we would have had to pay for it, keeping them up. And I tried a few other sources before I realized the only way we could have our full library of episodes is on YouTube. So I think it was episode 5 or so was the first one that went directly up to YouTube, and it's been there ever since.
Nice. So what would you say your favorite episode was, both of you, that we've done so far?
Oh man, that's a good question. I really, I got two that I'll point out. I really liked the episode where Cam and I did the 20 trades that happened. The first 20 trades that happened in the off season, where we just like discussed all of them. You know me, I'm a big trade snob. So to kind of be able to go through those and kind of judge them was a lot of fun, because I always have a bunch of thoughts on every trade after I see them. And I feel like that podcast is like 2 hours or something. I don't know how Cam edits it. I mean, going back to Cam editing for a quick second, I feel like a lot of his editing is just taking out my like long-winded like ramblings. Like I have a tendency just to go on and on and on. I don't do structure, you know. I just talk. So I don't know how Cam does all this in such a timely manner. You know, I'm thankful he does that, because I just get to show up for an hour or two a week and record, and I'm thankful for all the behind the scenes work he puts in. But my other favorite episode that we did was the M-SABR Dynasty League trivia episode. And I felt like I did wipe the floor with all of you. So I'm looking forward to doing that again, and hopefully repeating as trivia champion.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next round, whenever that'll be. My favorite, the one that jumped to mind, was the 2010 prospect draft. We randomized the teams into a draft order and did a fake prospect draft, pretending the date was January 8th or whatever of 2010, playing music from that era, talking as commentators like it is that day, so not knowing anything from the future. And it was just a ton of fun to, I guess, talk about the players with the benefit of hindsight, pretending we don't have that benefit. So it was very, very tongue-in-cheek. A lot of talk about how Dustin Ackley is a sure thing, and Michael Trout, I believe we called him Michael a couple of times, how he's rising up some boards, but some people are still skeptical about him. And I believe we mocked him 8th or 9th. In all, it was just a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more of those, even some more recent ones, and even some like back in like the 70s. That'd be a ton of fun.
I mean, who was the outfield prospect from Georgia where I just kept calling him a 5-tool prospect because I like didn't know anything about these guys like prospect.
Donovan Tate.
Yeah, Donovan Tate, and he ended up being a bust. But I spent like half the episode being like, well, he's a 5-star prospect. Like he has to go first overall. Like, oh man, that was.
And yeah, there was one guy I remember. You were talking about how bad he was for a while, how bad of a pick this was. And then I said, actually, it was a good pick for this reason. And you're like, well, yeah, he is a good pick. And it's like you immediately changed your tone on him.
Yeah, I in hindsight, I probably should have done a little more research into the players before we recorded, but it was kind of fun pretending like I had an idea of what I was talking about, even though I had no idea who I was talking about. And I also liked my Matt Hopgood rant about how he was such a terrible pick. And God, just thinking about Matt Hopgood makes me sad. Poor Orioles. But no, that was a really fun episode too.
All right. Kind of going off that, what were any favorite moments within the episodes? I know probably the Rhys Hoskins homer, no homer was probably one of them, right?
Oh man. Yeah, that was that was something. Cam and I usually try to wait before the games end, or after the games end to record. And this time we were like, you know what, we're going to start, and we're not going to immediately start with Cam's matchup. And and I'm glad we didn't, so we got this moment. But I'll let Cam describe the roller coaster of emotions, because it was his matchup after all.
Yeah, this was, I mean, Yeah, it's the easy answer for the best moment in podcast history. Really, it was just a total roller coaster of emotions. We were, yeah, like you said, waiting. We wanted to start the episode since it was getting late, but we were, yeah, just gonna wait for my thing to happen before we talk about my team. Rhys Hoskins was coming to bat. We figured, okay, if he does anything but hit a home run, I win. If he hits a home run, I lose. There's no other margin, or no, if anything other than a home run, we tie. And then I was watching the game in the background, but you saw it before I did. You said something along the lines of, "Oh, I have to interrupt," or
yeah, you were talking about like Connor's team because we talked about that matchup first, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stop you there, man."
Yeah, my heart sank. You said Rhys Hoskins is homered. You can hear the Slack notification coming as you say that. So I feel like that's very cool to have in the episode. I just kind of slumped out of my chair. I thought I'd lost live on air. I just felt kind of sick. I was watching on game day because I didn't have a stream of it since it's Sunday Night Baseball. So MLB TV, it's blacked out. And then I was watching that and I was just really frustrated with my team for losing that game. And then suddenly I still hadn't seen what it looked like, but I saw on the screen, it said play is under review. So I got a little optimistic with myself. I was like, okay, maybe it's going to get turned around. And Sahil, you kind of brushed that aside. But
it looks like a home run to me on the recording, and I'll still defend that. I thought that it looked like a home run, but I think the ground rules in Philly didn't make that a home run. I'm still a little confused by it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the yellow line, and it wasn't over that. But yeah, I mentioned, oh, it's under review, and that was while you were still talking about giving my team its eulogy for the week, and then eventually we saw it was overturned. My heart kind of sank again in a good way. I don't know if there's a word for that, but it was exhilarating to say the least. I was very, very happy to get that tie, especially since I really fought hard for it on the last day.
You very much fought hard for it. I was really hoping you'd take an L before you played me, but cool that you got back-to-back ties. But man, what a moment! I hope we have more of those this season. Like if you and I are like, it's getting late, we just need to record. Hopefully it doesn't affect these matchups, but I feel like every matchup this year, and every week, there's been at least one matchup, and often more, that have come down to that Sunday night game. So I think that might just happen again.
It might, and I mean, I wouldn't want to like force it into happening every week, but if it happens, it'll be great, and hopefully it's your heart getting played with instead of mine next time.
I always feel like my heart's getting played with, man. You know, Tatis and Yelich have been out. That's it's been breaking my heart, but now hopefully my matchups are decided well before that.
Yeah. Do you have? I'm trying to think of any other great moments in podcast history besides that. They were all. I mean, that was the only real unscripted thing on the podcast. You know.
I will say, when you and I like mess up, it's always kind of funny. It's like we'll start talking and then we'll be like, wait, like what the hell just happened? Like that just doesn't make any sense, or we'll lose our train of thought. And then we kind of have to like figure out like, okay, what was the last thing we said that we actually want to keep? And then we were like, all right, let's just like jump right back in. And I always find those moments amusing, although those rarely make it, if ever, on camera. I also liked our little segment a couple of weeks ago about the podcast being old enough to rent a car.
That was fun.
Driving around. I regret that we didn't follow up the next episode with where the podcast traveled, but you know.
Are we ready to tell the audience where the podcast did end up traveling to?
Oh, I think we should.
All right. Are we going to say it at the same time on the count of three?
I don't know what the answer is.
I mean, okay. I was trying to do something there, but okay. The podcast.
No. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's do that. I see what you're saying.
Okay. All right. The podcast went to
Camden,
Safeco Field.
Oh man, opposite sides of the world, or not the world, the United States. There you go. I don't know geography anymore. Everybody knows Camden Yards is the superior stadium. So
it is.
Yeah. I'd like to think the podcast went there. The podcast understands good stadiums. It's got class. We're a classy podcast.
The podcast of class. That's what we call ourselves. We should do a live podcast someday.
We should. We kind of did one after the draft, and that was also a lot of fun. Just like a bunch of random, just like whatever. We're gonna ask random questions and just go with it. But like, I'd like to do a real one live. That would be a lot of fun.
You also figure out that YouTube Live thing.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you just do it, and like when you're done, it just becomes like a video on the channel.
Man, we'd be like Max Grill going live on Instagram during our IM softball games.
And one of my other favorite, I guess, moments like that was there was one long Sahil rant about probably some Orioles catcher that no one knows, but he ended it up with, "And you better keep this in the podcast." And then I said, "I will not."
It was
but I did keep that in, and it got some good laughs.
You did. I love that. I'm so glad that stayed in. Chad Muller, man, he's elite. I won't go on another rant about him, I promise. But God, Chad Muller, what a baller.
All right, so you guys talk a little bit about how different it's been from off-season podcasts to in-season podcasts, and whether each of you prefer one or the other.
Oh, that's a great question. What I like about the off-season podcast is like Cam and I would kind of just like, I feel like every week, just like randomly, like one of us would come up with an idea while we were doing something. Like I'd literally be in class and I'd be bored and I'd be like, "Ooh, podcast idea," and I just chatted to Cam and we'd like discuss it. And then we had the flexibility to do things like the hypothetical 2010 draft or dynasty trivia. And I feel like now with the season, the advantage is there's like a lot more to talk about because there's just more happening with the matchups, but there's less flexibility to do maybe some of those fun segments that we were doing. So I like them both, but you definitely kind of miss some of the more creative aspects during the season.
Yeah, you pretty much hit every point I wanted to make. It is a lot more. There's a lot more room for creativity in the off season, whereas during the season it's more rigid. But also, I mean, that's the baseball part of it. That's the part that we want to talk about. That's the actual games, creating new history for the league week by week, which is always fun. And we still do go off on tangents during the regular season matchups. It's not like we're completely devoid of those. So there's a nice balance there, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know how to do, it's take us on a tangent. So yeah, we still definitely get to do that. I'm sure on your side, Cam, it's definitely like maybe a bit more pressure with the editing, having to get it up very quickly versus like when we did it in the off season, there wasn't as set of a schedule. We kind of recorded every week, but like you could kind of get it up whenever, even though maybe the episodes were longer.
Yeah, that's true. In the off season, I'd have like a week to get it up, and I just kind of say, yeah, I'll get it up sometime in this long stretch. But during the regular season, I'm trying to get it between 10 and noon every Tuesday. So that is kind of difficult. There's not a ton of time. I'm kind of a lot of the time up late on Monday nights to get most of it before finishing it up on Tuesday morning. So there is kind of a time crunch, and it's hard, but I've started listening to the podcast on like 1.3 speed while I edit. So that does make it quicker.
I love the specific 1.3.
Yeah, it's 1.34. I didn't want to use a second decimal place.
Right. So looking into the future, I know I started my own side thing. I know Andrew's potentially starting a hockey podcast. What do you see for the future of this channel or this podcast?
Good question.
Um,
A lot of the same, to be honest. At least during the season, and I'm sure we're going to have some special episodes kind of coming up in the off season. Cam and I have floated like a bunch of different ideas, and I'm not going to spoil all of them here. But like we had maybe like, I feel like, Cam, 3 or 4 good ideas at least that we did not get to do before the season started for various reasons, like whether it was like different drafts or kind of different general segment ideas that we wanted to discuss. So special guests. Yeah, we had a couple of those that we thought about, not just from the league, but even from people outside the league. So you might not see a lot of that in season, but definitely in the off season, like we're going to have a lot of cool stuff. And I feel like we've kind of hit a groove now where, Cam and I kind of have some good chemistry and we kind of know how we want to do things. I feel like we're a bit more efficient and a bit more, I don't want to say maybe witty is the right word, but I feel like we banter well with each other. So I feel like it's only going to improve the quality of the podcast as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've definitely got our banter down. We're 30 episodes in now. Most of our big plans are for the off season, but we do have some in-season stuff that'll be fun. We're probably going to do power rankings again sometime soon, and then maybe start a monthly mailbag segment where fans of the show can write in questions that we'll answer, and just have that be a semi-regular thing. That'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah. Also we'll make sure that the Dylan Moore, Nate Lowe segments don't totally go away. I know those are fan favorites, so I'm sure we'll see more of hear more about them in the future. Maybe.
All right. Is there anything else about the podcast that you're particularly proud of you want to talk about?
So I kind of teased it earlier, but as a part of the editing process, I choose all the music that gets played in between segments and at the end or at the beginning, and it's kind of my favorite part. So I took after Effectively Wild, and I used songs that kind of fit the theme of something that was talked about during the episode. So I guess the first one I chose, we talked about Trevor May, so I played Month of May. Most recently, I played No Surprises, since we talked about big surprises in the league. So just stuff like that, very easy to just kind of pick songs in between segments and just add a little layer of fun into it. The theme song to the show is a song called Fight Test by the Flaming Lips. It's the first song off of their probably their most popular album. And that one came from me and Sahil back in September recorded a test episode just to kind of make sure we were able to, that the recording would work and that I could get it edited and uploaded to SoundCloud. And so to start out the episode, I played Fight Test because like test. And then I realized that sounds really good at the beginning of the episode. So I kept it ever since. And it's the song you hear at the beginning all the time. It makes me think of baseball now in a weird way. But yeah, that was the first. I've used 54 different songs by 54 different artists. And I actually have a Spotify playlist with all of the music from the pitcher or the hitter that's available to anyone who wants it.
You still have that test episode?
I don't know. I think if I found the SoundCloud link, it's probably on there somewhere. It's not on YouTube yet though.
Yeah, you should post that if it's notable or if there's anything funny in there.
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes long, but I could definitely go find it and post it. I guess it's kind of a little artifact. Maybe I'll save it for a special occasion.
One of these days you'll be cleaning out your SoundCloud account and it'll just be sitting in there and you'll be like, oh my God.
Every time I hear the word banter, I think of The Office quote Kevin. He's like, I love banter. I hate witty banter.
You would have. I walked by. So today's my first day in the office, and I walked by this one office, and this woman has like a big like picture of Michael Scott saying, "I am Beyonce always." That was great.
All right. I have found it as 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's tagged sports, and it has 9 plays.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's all I wanted to say. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Cam?
No, not really.
All right, guys. This is really fun. Thanks for putting this together.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Yeah.
And all over nothing, just as though it was a joke my whole life through. All of the pain and the sorrow I knew, all of the tears that fall from my eyes. I can't see why when I walked in the park, all of the shade I avoided your eyes. I was ashamed of my own mind. No one says I'll rise one day as dark as your night.
This podcast is good.